my name is John, and this is my good buddy Andy, and you're listening to the Packers Blitz podcast. This podcast is done by two diehard Packer fans who survived the dark times of the 1980s of Packers football and lived to talk about it. So this podcast is dedicated to the world's greatest fans, Packers fans. You know we love you. You guys are the greatest. So it's already September. Woohoo! Packer Blitz fans, Packer fans, football fans, whoever fans you are, and it's not too long now, just a few days away from the first game, Detroit, Kansas City, Thursday night, the start of the football season, and we're a week away from the Packers' first game. We can't wait. So let's just get right into this because I am super excited, Andy. So we're going to get right into this. Okay, buddy?
Yep. And we're going to keep it under 2 hours. Just joking. But yeah, we have about as much content as last time. And so we're going to try to get through all this.
Yeah, we're going to cruise, baby. We'll put it on cruise. Okay, so really quickly, this is some really important Packers news and notes. Hey, would you like some free beer, Andy?
Yeah.
You would?
I would.
Okay, so you got to go to Milwaukee to Jack's American Pub, and every time free things every Aaron Rodgers loss with the New York Jets. Now, people, I just want to say something really quick. The fine print, you can't go and then let's just go like there's some fine print. So this is funny. You got to remember this is not a are trying to get their name out there. American Covet, but I don't live in Milwaukee. But again, this is Jeff. He's just having some fun. So next one. Final 53-man roster. Prizes? Not really. Andy nailed O'Donnell. That was a good one. Other than that, we got him, which we need. So we got him from the Vikings, I believe, off his practice squad or cut down. Doesn't matter. Here's the thing. The Packers to be young and fast. When is the last time did I say that we said when we're watching a game, wow, the Packers look young and fast? No, typically there was a good thing of veterans, good thing of youth. It's going to be I'm going to say this again. Patience. That is really good thing. So, I'm excited about, some of these news and notes. There's some other things out there, Aaron Jones buying a mansion in Miami. Don't worry. He's not going to the Dolphins soon. So everybody needs to shut up. He just bought a thing in Miami because, well, he's rich and he can do that. So let him do that. So Andy, why don't you take over some news and notes?
Yep, got a few things tonight, John. I think I got 3 of them. And the first thing on a very positive note, sportscaster Nick Wright of the First Things First podcast predicted that your Green Bay Packers football team will win the NFC North. He cited the Packers' talented young receiving core, an underrated defense, and a belief that Jordan Love has what it takes to lead the team as his main reasons for his prediction. So thank you, Nick Wright. And he's kind of like a Colin Cowherd disciple, but actually he's really, really intelligent, which...
Boom!
Right. So actually it's a really good podcast. I've been listening to that one a lot lately. First Things First. So thank you, Nick, for saying that we're going to win the division. Yeah, there was another guy on that show. Actually, I wasn't going to say it, but he predicted that the Packers would make the playoffs. So, and I forget which of
Whoa,
the three.
okay.
So there were a couple of them actually on the show, but they actually had an article that came out after he said it. So I cited that. But yeah, so thank you. So then basically, Jordan Love sat behind future Hall of Famer quarterback Aaron Rodgers, learned from him, performed well throughout the preseason, and has gained confidence. He has a long way to go to achieve the numbers close to Rodgers for a career, but remember, Packers Blitz fans, Rodgers' numbers last season were just okay. Many analysts are predicting that Jordan Love can put up good enough numbers to win football games. So, finally, Nick Wright is someone with a voice of reason who bases his rankings on intelligence, unlike Colin Cowherd. So, thank you for having the Packers winning the division again. So, little repeat of that again. I just
Like that.
like hearing myself say it, and I like him saying it too. I was really surprised when he picked us to win. So, John, any comments on that?
No, I love it. So finally somebody with intelligence and not trying to be a
Correct.
moron every time he gets on the mic. So all right.
So the second thing I wanted to bring up on a very interesting note, the Packers supposedly offered running back
I heard that.
AJ Dillon and a third round pick
Yeah, I heard.
to the Indianapolis Colts in exchange for disgruntled star running back Jonathan Taylor. By the way, he is the former star running back with the Wisconsin Badgers. That was a very fair and strong trade offer. However, the Colts reportedly sent a counter offer, get this, of Dillon,
What?
Christian Watson, and a first round pick,
Give me a
supposedly.
break.
So the Packers wisely and obviously backed out.
God.
One doubts how serious the Colts truly are about trading Taylor. As Packers GMs, John and I probably would have told them to shove it.
Probably we would have told him to shove.
That's true. I just wanted to hear you say it. So I know
Shove
I
it.
would have been telling them to shove it. Packers Blitz fans, John, that tells you four very interesting things.
Interesting.
First thing, the Packers organization thinks we can win the division now. The second thing, current Packers GM Brian Gutekunst has the smarts to trade for a really good player who could give first-year starting quarterback Jordan Love another weapon. The third thing, the age of Taylor, he's only 24, and Aaron Jones, who is 28, may have played into the potential move a little bit. And the last thing, the fourth thing, running back AJ Dillon probably won't be re-signing with the team long term. The other team in the mix for Jonathan Taylor were the Miami Dolphins. The Colts wanted former first-round picks wide receiver Jalen Waddle and or linebacker Jalen Phillips.
All right.
By the way, both the Packers and the Dolphins were then willing to give Jonathan Taylor, basically the bag, a contract
Wow.
in the $12 million to $16 million per year range.
Wow.
That's Derrick Henry to Christian McCaffrey money, by the way. McCaffrey makes the most at $16 million. So, and that's what we had talked about on a previous podcast that we were going to talk about tonight, but we aren't, that we haven't spent a whole lot on offense. We have spent the least amount of money on offense.
Yes.
And just to warn everybody, I said we were going to get to it tonight. We're not. So we'll try to get to the next podcast. But yeah, we don't have a very high payroll when it comes to the offensive players on our team. So that makes sense that they were maybe willing to bring in a very talented player, one that is multifaceted, can run and catch the football, as maybe a long-term upgrade, and then pay him a little bit of money. So Yeah. So very interesting bombshell, wasn't it, John? So you heard about that. I would hope it was all
Yeah,
over the news.
of course I did. I think that shows Packer fans, Packer Blitz fans, that Gutekunst isn't screwing around anymore. Like would he have done this deal with Rodgers? Maybe. I don't know. But now he's like, I'm gonna Jonathan Taylor, but that's a they're not serious. If you're trying to get two of our young, talented players and a first rounder for Jonathan Taylor, I mean, all due respect to Jonathan Taylor, but come on, man. No, jeez, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
So
I mean, maybe a high first round pick for
yeah,
him,
I give
even
you
up,
first
but
rounder and
because he
Taylor.
was actually John, I think he was a second round pick
Correct.
originally, and I'm not saying he's not a legit player. He's probably one of the
He
top
is.
5 running backs in the league,
Yeah,
maybe top 6 when he's healthy. But he's
correct.
on the pup list right now. He's not going to play the first 4 games anyway. Um, you know, so they were willing to trade
And
for him though, which tells you that
yeah,
yeah, that's a good thing. That's good when he's
that is
actually
the thing.
trying to bring some frontline starter in, somebody on offense that's a one of those position
Yeah.
players that they
Game
don't draft,
yeah,
you know,
game
in the
changer.
first round.
Yep, yeah.
So
And the good news too, people, is AJ Dillon, this is his prove it year. So if he doesn't step up and have a hell of a year, the Packers gonna win either way. If he has this breakout year and he really helps the Packers win some games, yeah, he's gonna be gone and someone's gonna pay him a boatload of money. Crappy year, you know, again, it's not we're paying him a lot of money. So we win either way, in my opinion. He has a great year for us. Yes, he might go somewhere else, but that's okay because he'll help us win. And if he has a crappy year, well, then we didn't invest a lot in him and we're fine. So um
yep.
that's a good thing. So
Yep, and then the last thing I wanted to talk about in Packers news and notes is, and it's pretty somber and it's a sad thing. The 17-year-old son of former Packers Super Bowl champion Brady Papinga. Papinga was a linebacker, by the way, for us. His son Julius tragically passed away on Thursday from a severe asthma attack. Um, just a little note, I got some more information and I didn't put it in there, but basically he also had a collapsed lung. So he's, not only did he have the asthma attack, one of his lungs collapsed. So they weren't able to resuscitate him. So he passed away, unfortunately. So the former linebacker, Brady Papinga, was drafted by the Packers back in 2005, played with the Pack from
mm,
2005 to 2010, and won a Super Bowl with Green Bay in 2010. Brady Papinga spent 8 years in the NFL. Packers Blitz sends out our deepest condolences to Julius Papinga's family, friends, and everyone who had the pleasure of knowing him. So I figured I'd bring that up, John.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The
I
deepest
mean, we always like to talk about the Super Bowl winning Packers team.
yes, we
I
do.
saw this and I was just like,
Mm,
I loved Brady Papinga as a player.
yeah.
Actually, I think was pretty good as a sportscaster too.
Yeah, he was pretty
Didn't he? Yeah. So, called some NFL games and whatnot.
yeah,
So I figured I'd bring it up. But yeah, that's a little bit of a somber note. But
yeah.
yeah. So any comments on
No,
that,
just
or
our
let's
deepest
move on?
deepest sympathies, and
Yeah.
I wish him the best and everything. So yeah,
And then the next part, third part of our podcast, we had our introduction, and then we had the news and notes. We're heading back a little bit of nostalgia. We're going to talk about episode 34. If you want more in depth about the 53-man roster, go back to episode 34 and listen to it. We're just going to briefly discuss it, what happened. And just like John said, it pretty much is. There weren't a whole lot of surprises, and actually, our predictions were pretty much spot on. But again, if you want to listen to the previous
yeah.
episode to get
Please
some
do.
more in-depth information, go right ahead. So basically, I'm going to kind of steal this from Colin Cowherd.
Oh boy.
So where we were right. So we were right about the quarterback, the wide receivers, the tight end slash fullback, defensive line, outside linebacker, inside linebacker, and safety. All those position groups, we were spot on with the amount of people that they took, and we were right. So, which is pretty awesome. I was kind of surprised myself that we were so spot on. Where we were wrong, running back, but we weren't totally wrong, and I'll get to that in a second. The Packers kept 3 running backs instead of 2. Emmanuel
Yeah.
Wilson, kind of
That's a
he made the
shocker.
53-man roster, and John and I think are glad about that. He
Oh,
deserved it. It's
absolutely.
kind of the one of the stars of training camp. So a guy that is undrafted, a free agent that comes in, plays really well and gets rewarded for it. Um, so we had predicted that only 2 would be there. We had hoped that he was going to make it. We said on previous podcasts he should make it. We were saying that over and over and over again, and we're just glad it happened. So we were kind of on that one, but not totally, because we said we were probably going to be put on the practice squad and did
Yeah.
not. So, but then at offensive line, the Packers kept 11 offensive linemen, if you can believe that, instead of 10
Hmm.
on Tuesday.
Right.
However, by Thursday, Luke Tenuta was put on injured reserve list, IR, for at least the next 4 weeks. This is just roster maneuvering by the Packers. So we are actually right. So they had 11, but just a few hours later, like a day later or whatever, they put him on IR. So actually, they have 10 offensive linemen again.
Yep.
So I think that one counts, but
That one
whatever.
counts. We're gonna
Yeah.
take it.
And then the Packers only kept 4 cornerbacks instead of 5. We were wrong on that. Ennis Gaines
Yeah.
was released, but then he got re-signed right away to the practice squad. He's one of our really good special teamers.
Yes, he is.
So that was really the only time we were like wrong, totally wrong was on that. Then on special teams, the Packers kept 2 instead of 3. The biggest surprise was punter Daniel Whelan made the team, beating out incumbent Pat O'Donnell, which John just talked about. That was a Packers Blitz special, by
Yes,
the
it
way, on our
was.
last episode. I said that was going to happen.
Yep.
It's a cost cutting move. We were
Boom. Right.
saving money on for the cap. So Whelan has 0 real game experience.
Oh boy.
He hasn't proven he can hit big kicks consistently, make accurate kicks consistently, or can hold the ball consistently for the place kicker. So basically, it's a big risk.
A big risk.
A big risk.
You've seen
Daniel Whelan will be the first Irish-born player since 1985 to play in the NFL. 38 years.
Wow.
So he's the first. During the preseason games, he averaged 45.2 yards, 37.2 net. That net average was hurt by a touchback and a 21-yard return. Of his 6 punts, 3 ended up inside the 20-yard line. So they thought he was good enough, showed enough promise. He has an incredible leg. It's actually better than the O'Donnell. I think it was Pat O'Donnell.
Yeah, Pat O'Donnell.
Who had gotten rid of. So they're taking a risk on our place kicker and our punter. And the reason that they kept only 2 was they let long snapper Matt Orzik go, but then they added him right back after the waiver period and he took Luke Tenuta's roster spot. So it's just a maneuvering thing that they had to do so that they didn't lose a player, or they didn't want to put Tenuta out there, I don't think, to the waiver wire. So they kind of made an agreement with Matt that he would come back to the team and whatnot. So we were kind of right on that anyway, because I said they were going to keep him as long as ever. So again, that's pretty impressive, John. We were totally wrong on 2 moves in making the 53-man roster. Emmanuel Wilson made it, and Ennis Gaines didn't. Any comment on that, John?
No, that we know football here on Packers Blitz. We're not just 2 good-looking old guys. We know
we are so humble.
We are so really humble. Yes, humble.
We know what we're doing.
We know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Clouds out there.
So only four more things of importance about the
All
Packers
right.
roster situation before we move on. So the
Yeah.
first things of importance was defensive lineman and former 2022 seventh round pick Jonathan Ford, who had initially made the roster, was released on Wednesday, cleared waivers, and now will return to the practice squad. So we had him on the roster, but very soon after that, he wasn't.
Yeah.
Cornerback Samar Jean Charles, who John said was having a pretty rough camp. He was
Yeah.
a former fifth round pick. He was claimed by the San Francisco 49ers and did not make it through waivers. So
Yeah.
just to let everybody know, he's gone. He's with the 49ers. Linebacker Tariq Carpenter, who had originally made the roster, was released and decided not to rejoin the team on its practice squad. He is now on the Pittsburgh Steelers practice squad. So he chose not to come back. So John had mentioned the tight end, which I'm about to, and then there's also a safety.
Yeah.
So Ben Sims was formerly of the Minnesota Vikings. John calls them something else. And safety Zane Anderson, formerly of the Buffalo Bills, were two players in which the Packers claimed off waivers from other teams. Sims was an undrafted rookie from Baylor who had a good preseason and showed good blocking and athleticism. The Vikings had hoped to put him on their practice squad. That didn't happen. Sims had visited the Packers before the draft. The Packers must have saw something in him and maybe something in him also during the preseason, and they decided to sign him. So, and then Anderson, the safety, spent the last 3 seasons as a special teams contributor with the Chiefs and the aforementioned Bills. So he's kind of a veteran, and he's now with the team. So they needed somebody to bolster their special teams anyway, John,
Yeah.
because
Sounds good.
because Ennis Gaines is on the practice squad now. You got to be able to replace some of those players, those
Yeah.
good players on special teams. So, so the next part I wanted to talk about, I know we'll let John chime in a little bit. John, you got anything to say about the
No,
53 man? Okay.
no, it's good. We did it, buddy.
Okay. So the next part that I want to talk about was the 17 man practice squad, and we're not going to go through this in great detail, but as of Friday, September 1st, this is what happened. So the Packers signed 16 players after Tuesday's cutdowns. They can have 16. Then added a 17th on Thursday. They are allowed an extra player because they are participating in the International Players Program. The list includes a lot of familiar faces and a few new ones. So the new ones that are on the practice squad are linebacker Christian Welch. And the only thing I want to say about that is he's going to be probably a special teams guy if he gets put onto the roster. But he's a native of Iola, Wisconsin. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Iola, Wisconsin. But and then the second person that's new is linebacker Aaron Mosby, and he's an edge rusher with a little bit of talent, supposedly. So they have him also on the practice squad. Those are the only two new ones. The rest of them are ones that we have talked about before, or that people that have been listening to our podcast already know that we're on the team. But I just list those off very quickly. Linebacker Kenneth Ndumwegu.
Who
Is
the
that how you
hell?
pronounce it?
Sure.
Yeah, he's from Nigeria. So he's the player in the International Players Program, by the way, and he's from Nigeria. So that's why we have 17 instead of 16. So he's on there. Linebacker Keyshawn Banks. So there's 4 linebackers, if everybody's keeping track, that are on the practice squad. Quarterback Alex Magoo, he got signed back. Fullback Henry Pearson,
Really?
defensive lineman Chris Slayton, defensive lineman Jonathan Ford, wide receiver Bo Melton,
Hmm.
wide receiver Grant DeBose, running back Patrick Taylor, cornerback Corey Ballantyne, cornerback Keandre Thomas, quarterback Ennis Gaines, safety, the hero of the last preseason game,
Yes,
Benny
my boy
Sapp,
Benny Sapp.
tight end Austin Allen, and tackle Kadeem Telford. So 15 of those guys were with the team during training camp or with the team and put on the practice squad. So I just wanted to go through those quick. Any comments on that, John?
No, that's a nice practice squad. I like it. That's really balanced. I like it.
It is. Yeah. Actually, they're thinking about, special teams and whatnot. If
Yeah,
somebody gets injured to be able to plug in, they've got
yeah.
extra quarterback on there. They actually, it's very well balanced. Yeah. Actually, you are spot on with that.
Mm.
Yep. They don't have a whole lot of offensive linemen on there, just the one,
You
but
don't need it, no.
they may end up training one of them.
Right.
So that could be part of what they're up to
Yeah.
anyway. And that's why they did what they did, where they kept him on the roster and then put him on the
Mhm.
IR, and now he's on the practice squad. So,
Mhm.
um, so next part, we're going to talk a little bit about the Packers fan prolific. Their fans being prolific at chugging beers. So we're gonna kind of veer off course a little bit
All
because
right.
I mean
Have a
we're
little
trying not to
fun.
bore everybody with roster and
Yeah,
our
yeah. For
all that kind of
fun.
stuff. Yeah, now we're gonna take a little bit of a break and we are going to do that right now. So the NFL Fan Awards by Pickswise answered the burning question for all of us NFL fans when they unveiled the list of fan bases that drink the most beers per game. And without further ado, let's take a closer look. At number 1, Green Bay Packers Fanatics.
Yay!
6.3 beers.
Yeah.
That's
Chug
a
it.
lot. That's a lot.
Chug.
We're talking that's per fan? Wow.
That's a six pack. Over a six
6.3.
pack.
That is somebody that needs a designated driver.
Yes, definitely.
Ranked second were Chicago Bears fans.
Ooh.
They chugged 5.2 beers. So we're a full beer above them.
Yeah, we beat you
Uh,
again, Bears
Ranked
fans.
number 3 were the Las Vegas Raiders
Really?
at 4.6 beers.
Huh.
At number 4, the Minnesota Vikings at 4.5
Come
beers.
on.
And then ranked 5th were the
Oh,
Philadelphia
Eagles
Eagles
fans.
at
Come on.
4.1 beers.
You
So
guys.
since this is so interesting, we're gonna break down the results.
Yeah.
So according to Pickswise, this is a quote from that website, and this is what they said. And this is not me saying it. This is them saying it. True Packers fans still have feelings about Favre's exit, Aaron Rodgers' love of meditative retreats, or the team's postseason inconsistencies, making it easy to love a cold beer.
Yeah, okay.
Or 6, consuming an average of 6.3 beers a game, followers of the pack have drunk their way into our MVP award. End quote.
Yay!
So that was a direct quote from them. So Packers fans really love some beer, as they are a full beer ahead again of the second place Bears fans base. It's not even close. The NFC North did have 3 teams represented in the top 15. I'm not sure what happened to Detroit there.
Yeah,
The
where's
Packers.
Detroit?
Yeah, right. What's happening with Detroit? The Packers' 2022 campaign was incredibly up and down and resulted in them barely missing the playoffs. John and I can imagine that the beers were flowing like water inside Lambeau Field. If the 2023 campaign without Aaron Rodgers goes badly, goes awry, there may be a lot of tears to drown out the sorrow from losing. Miller Coors Brewing Company may have to send up a lot of semi trucks up the I-94 freeway from Milwaukee. So that's for those fans in Wisconsin that know what we're talking about with that. So I figured I'd add that in. That's from me. I just said it really, really bad though. If the 2023 campaign without Aaron Rodgers goes badly, there may be a lot of tears to drown out the sorrow from losing.
I hear you, buddy.
Before. Okay.
So what
So
really quick.
hopefully not.
Well, hopefully not. Yes.
Hopefully not. Okay.
So one of the things that you and I remember, and if you don't remember this, trust me, you will if you go back. So Max McGee used to do. He's a former Packers receiver in the '60s. Check out his footage in Super Bowl one. It's amazing. He used to say the same thing in the '80s when we'd be losing. He'd be like, "Well, time to break open another Budweiser," and he would say that on
Yeah.
air, and he
Yeah.
would
Are you talking about that's Max McGee,
yes,
right?
Max
You're
McGee.
talking about, yeah, I remember that.
And Max
Yeah.
McGee would open the beer.
Hilarious.
You could hear him opening the beer on the radio. He didn't do TV, he just did radio. You could hear it, and then you could hear him take a swig, and I said, "I love this." You know, I remember that. I'm like, I totally remember that because I would listen to on my radio when I'd be helping my dad, you know, with something, and we'd listen to the radio and just Max McGee, you know, when we'd be getting, I don't know, beat by whoever, it didn't matter. He'd go, time to break open another Budweiser. And you hear crack. I just I just thought that was the greatest thing. You can't do that nowadays, obviously. You get into a lot of trouble, but back then, good old Max was like, "Yeah, what do you know?" So that's
He-
awesome. Yeah, I love that.
One of a kind, Max McGee.
Actually use one. And just to make sure other fans understand, if you go to Lambeau, this when you say, "Oh man, drinking 6 beers," what do they have it in a little Dixie cup or whatever? No, no, no. This is a red Solo cup, the big ones. Okay, they're not the red Solo ones; they're clear. The beer typically cost you. I think last year cost me $10. Whatever. But the point is, I drank one and I was like, okay, I'm good. I can't imagine drinking 6 of big cups and chugging them at a game. But my drinking days are over, way over. But anyway, that's awesome, buddy.
You wouldn't be able to watch the game. You'd be in the bathroom. R-
I'd be in
I
the
mean, really,
I would be in the bathroom.
right. Yeah, Packers fans, I mean, it's worth every penny to go to a Packers game, but tickets aren't cheap.
No,
They aren't. But so you want to be able to watch the game, right? You're there
yeah,
at
I
Lambeau.
love that. I love that. So you have more takeaways.
Maybe you'll see Vince Lombardi.
You drink enough beers, you just might. Um,
Yep. Maybe, yeah.
so you have more takeaways from the final 53-man roster. What else could you have?
Yeah. Well, we took a little break and now we're right back.
Yeah, we're right back
Talk-
into it. You had
yeah.
some beer, we had some fun. Now we're gonna get
Yeah.
right back into it.
Right. Yeah. So I had promised that we were going to talk about this on the last podcast. So I'm trying to get through some of the things I said that we would talk about. So these are the 5 takeaways that we have from the final 53-man roster. So the first takeaway, at safety, the Packers went with Jonathan Owens instead of Tavarius Moore.
Surprise.
The answer may be simply that Jonathan was healthy and Tavarius was not.
Mhm.
However, Owens seemed to be lost
Yes.
in coverage at times during the
Yes.
3 preseason games. John mentioned this several times.
Yeah,
He did look lost. He got
did.
burned a few times. It just
Yes,
was
he
out of
did.
place. Moore was clearly
Yeah.
the better player when on the field with legit speed
Absolutely.
and textbook tackling.
Mhm.
So that one was a little bit,
Mm.
yeah, head scratcher. But by the way, this is off the subject, but Owen's wife, Simone Biles, won the U.S. championships, by the way, in
Yeah.
gymnastics. So
Mm.
we've kind of been
for
updating
her.
people on
Yay.
that. So congratulations to her.
Congratulations.
Undrafted free agent. This is the second thing. Undrafted free agent running back Emmanuel Wilson beat out both Tyler Goodson and Patrick Taylor for a roster spot. Wilson led the NFL preseason in rushing. He did. He was leading it after 2 games, and he led it after 3
That's
preseason
funny.
games.
Okay.
So pun intended, he ran away with the job. With Aaron Jones nor AJ Dillon guaranteed to be under contract for 2024. Wilson brings value because of his noticeable running ability and tackle breaking acumen. He's got juice. He brings explosiveness that the Green Bay Packers offense sometimes lacks.
Mhm.
So that was the second takeaway from the 53-man roster. Third one was another undrafted rookie wide receiver, Malik Heath, was the star of camp. He got open. He caught the ball. He was a goon and blocked. Now the Packers have kept at least one rookie free agent for 19 consecutive years.
Wow.
According to an anonymous longtime member of the personnel department, not one of those rookies were as impressive as Heath.
Huh.
Not even cornerback Sam Shields, who
Yeah.
ended up playing about half of the defensive snaps, by the way, for a Super Bowl winning
Yeah, they did.
defense in 2010. And he would have been a great cornerback if he hadn't had his career cut short by concussions, I believe. Right, John?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yep. So he was undrafted as well. So he kind of compared. I guess Heath there is no comparison. Heath was basically the star of camp, and that's awesome. So so the fourth takeaway: the Packers kept 11 offensive linemen. 11. That tied for the most blockers in over a decade.
Wow.
The depth is tackle heavy, so it seems like Goody may be poised to make a trade to a tackle needy team. We kind of talked about that before.
Right.
So that's part of the reason he's kind of hoarding those guys, because they're actually really, really good. And there isn't a lot of weak links on that line. I don't think there are any. And they have a lot of depth as well. So there's a lot of value there or could be value if we trade any of them. So, and then the last thing, and this is something that John mentioned before, the youth movement is back in Green Bay. Just like his predecessor, Ted Thompson, Brian Gutekunst has embraced the youth movement again. 15 players, or 28.3% are rookies.
Wow.
7 are 21 or 22 years old.
Jeez.
Only 3 players on the roster are 30 plus years old. Last year, Goody kept more veterans on the roster to win a championship, and the roster ranked 16th in average age. In 2023, Goody has now pivoted to youth. So John before talked about our youth, our speed, our athleticism, and whatnot. And John, did you have anything else to add on that one?
I think that is going to be interesting this year, because the biggest thing I notice that at least we'll see if this works, is we were usually I wouldn't say smash mouth team, but we like to, hit you in the chops and stuff like that. And then also we were with Holmgren, I thought we were more of a finesse team because he came from San Francisco, and the 49ers would never hit you in the mouth and beat you down. They were more like, we're gonna finesse you. We just, we're just gonna beat you with finesse and speed and and I think that's what the NFL is going to. With the exception of maybe like the Eagles, who are a punch you in the mouth team with their defensive line and offensive line, but they still have a lot of good speed and they have some pretty decent youth. I'm excited to see what this does, because brings a whole new era to Green Bay where you're going to watch them like be fast. Like this is a team that's going to be fast, and it's going to be patience, but it's going to be different. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, so before we move on and talk about the Bears game that's coming up,
Yes, sir.
I promised again on the last episode that we would talk a little bit, for the final time, hopefully, about what the 6 big things that we had learned from the Packers preseason, camp, and games. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. I just picked some of the top ones that I thought there was. So the first thing, we talked about this before, Jordan Love can play. He
Yeah.
may not be a top 10 quarterback, but he can play. Thus, the Packers can win games with him under center. What do you think on that, John? That's
Yeah,
the first big thing.
absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are saying he's going to be really good, like
Mm,
better than people think he's going to be. So I'd be happy if he's just a game manager that occasionally makes a play here and there. I think
yeah,
our defense is good enough that we can win
yeah.
some ball games, at least be
Think
500.
think
So,
okay, think Randall Cunningham, okay?
hmm
Think him,
Philadelphia
okay? Now
Eagles,
he had a little more juice, if you wanna say, but Randall
big
Cunningham,
arm,
yeah, he had a big arm, he
big.
made plays, but when he got a little older, he would sit back in that pocket a little longer, but he still, when he went to Minnesota, he had a legit arm, he still can make plays for you, and he still won games for you. So, I'm not saying they're alike, but what I'm saying is if you have a guy like that, like Randall Cunningham, in my opinion, is not a top 10 quarterback in the history of the NFL. He's about in the middle, right? Maybe in the 20s and 30s, but he still helped Philadelphia be legit and get them in the playoffs. And even though they did not win a Super Bowl with him, maybe Jordan Love will get a little bit more out of him. And yeah, but he can play. That's the main thing.
Yeah, and the second main thing that we learned from those preseason games and the camp in general, the skill position players that we have on offense are fast and versatile. So, and what I was really impressed with were our tight ends, actually. I don't know about you, John, but I
Yeah,
mean they're
uh,
fast and versatile too. So it's
yeah,
not only the wide
it's,
receivers,
yeah, you
it's not
cannot.
only the running
Yeah,
backs, it's yeah, so our skill position players are not bad.
yeah, you are not going to cover our tight ends with a linebacker. You do that, you're gonna lose. I mean, you just can't. So that means you have to bring your corner with the linebacker or the safety with the corner or with the linebacker because he get when even Tucker Craft slips out, and Luke Musgrave, our boy, you got to be careful because he's gonna, if we use him right, that middle and the seam is gonna be wide open because Christian Watson is going to take a player with him because they got to get him, and the safety's got to help. Like we saw that thing in Cincinnati. That is what I see the pure example, Andy and Packer Blitz fans where if you remember the preseason game and all, Christian Watson is flying down the sidelines. The corner like is trying to catch up, he can't, and the safety comes over the last minute and knocks the ball away. But here's the thing: you do that in a regular season game, someone's open in the middle because two people just went with Christian Watson. That means somebody's open, and you hope that it's Musgrave or Kraft or one of our other tight ends that can just go down the field on them. So that's exciting to me. I'm like I said, that's another exciting thing.
Yeah, Musgrave looks really, really good.
Yeah,
Good route
look the
runner,
part.
good hands. He gets open.
Yes,
He
he
gets
does.
open. He's fast.
And
He's
this
really a
Ben Sims
complete
is
player
no slouch.
already.
Yeah. The guy we got from the Vikings, is Ben guy, is no slouch either. He's a fast guy too.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, John, I know we talked about, I mean, the comparison with Kelsey and Goddard, and I was thinking a little bit just now about Hunter Henry when he first came
Oh,
out.
right. Yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah.
Hunter Henry, though, is not as good a blocker as
No, he's
Musgrave is,
not.
so Musgrave actually might end up being better than Hunter Henry. Now, Hunter Henry had some injuries,
Correct.
and he's not as fast as he used to be
No.
and not as
No, he's
prolific
been
as he
bleeding.
used to be.
Yeah, yeah.
He could have been one of the all-time
He
greats, but
could have.
unfortunately,
Yeah, injury.
now he's with a team that's not gonna utilize him at
No,
all,
no.
and so, he got a pretty good contract in free agency with
Yeah,
The
good for
New
him.
England Patriots, but
Yeah, good for him.
yeah, but he used to be really good,
Mm,
really good. So he kind of reminds me a little bit of Hunter Henry as far
yeah,
as his build. Pretty tall dude,
yep,
a pretty big dude, but a
yep.
better blocker.
Better block.
So the third thing, and we've talked about this
Offensive
before, what we
line.
learned was the offensive line is legit. It's top tier. And because of its depth, the Packers are able to experiment with lineups and have a lot of plug and play guys. If one guy goes down, there's another guy that's going to be able to come right back in. If they want to do a jumbo package, they can do a jumbo package if they need to do it, right? They get some really big dudes on that line and really good athletic players that can run block and pass block. So it's a real advantage that the Packers have over almost any other team in the NFL. And I know our favorite guy, Colin Cowherd, has harped on this
He's not our
over and over
favorite.
and again. He's like the offensive line play really stinks around the NFL.
Well, he's right
So
about that.
so we have a legitimate advantage. And for our rookie, maybe not rookie quarterback, but our first year quarterback, Jordan Love, to have that type of line in front of him, that's only going to help him. If he
Yeah.
can't succeed with having all day to throw,
Mhm.
we're going to find out really quickly whether he can play or not, aren't we? So the fourth thing that we learned was the front seven on the defenses looked very good, very good. The D line has generated a lot of consistent push and pursuit of the ball carrier or the quarterback, sideline to sideline. It's deeper, faster, and more athletic. The depth at edge rusher was a concern. Well, not anymore.
Nope.
The Packers now have depth on the roster and on the practice squad. The linebackers have been close in pass coverage, filling gaps inside against the run, flowing well to the ball when the running back is trying to get outside, and even blitzing more than they normally do. A lot of concerns coming into 2023 look like they were unwarranted. The Packers defense looks poised to improve in pressuring the quarterback. They were 22nd in 2022 and stopping the run. They were 28th in yards per carry allowed. We've talked about that before. So they look poised. I mean, their front seven looks good, top to bottom. So what do you think on that, John?
Absolutely. You know my Carl Brooks. He's my
Yeah.
boy. He's gonna get some
Yep.
playing time.
Yep. Plus you got Wooden. Wooden's playing pretty well, the rookie also. So
Yes,
the
yes,
couple really
yes.
good.
And
We're gonna talk next time about the draft and how good our 2022 draft was. Our 2023 draft actually might even be better.
yeah,
So
that's crazy.
we're gonna talk a little bit about that. A
Now
little teaser for next time.
here's the X factor, Joe Barry.
Yep.
He's the X factor. He's the guy that's gonna again, we've already talked this is in previous episodes in the podcast. LaFleur's got to pull the trigger if this isn't working because we just talked about it, right, Andy? We just said this is a balanced, deep defense. So
Talented.
yeah, talented, fast.
Now you
Right.
use the talent.
Use the talent, put them in the right places,
Right.
give them the right plays to be successful. And if you can't do that, then you got to go. Enough screwing around. All right. Get somebody in here and that's going to come in and make this team a top 5 defense. In my opinion, it should be a top 3 defense, but that's just, again, my opinion. So,
and they might not even be able to wait until the end of the season.
you can't.
They need to act right away. So if it's not working out, then hopefully there's somebody already on
the
his
radar.
staff,
Yeah. Right.
that they could just plug and play that. And
all right,
we'll see. So the fifth thing that we learned was Rudy Ford has finally emerged as the starting safety next to Darnell Savage. At one time, he was down to like third string, and he's right back up to first string again. So, John, I could probably count on two hands on how many starting, how many safety combinations there were during the camp. So they were really trying to find an answer, and then in the end, it came right back to the way it was even before camp started. That it was Rudy Ford and Darnell Savage, right? After all that. So, anything on the safety situation?
No.
Okay. Moving on. Last thing, sixth thing, rookie kicker Anders Carlson.
Oh boy.
Had a lot of ups and downs. He has the leg and the ability to bounce back quickly, just like with Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Patience will be the key.
Patient.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm actually I like him as a player, so I think he's gonna be
Interesting.
doing just fine. If it's anything like his brother who kicks for the
Yeah.
Raiders,
Yeah.
we had a steal in the draft. He's gonna be with us a long, long time. Oh, yeah, so this is kinda cool, John. So, John, fans out there, Anders Carlson is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. John, who said that? What movie was that from, and what year was it out in theaters? Do you
Uh,
remember?
Forrest Gump,
Yeah,
1995? No?
that's close, 1994.
Oh!
Yep,
All right.
and who said that in the movie?
Oh, that's Forrest Gump.
Forrest
Tom
Gump,
Hanks.
Tom
You
Hanks,
never
yep,
know what you're gonna get.
yeah.
Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah, that was actually like I was like, "Wait a minute, that's like that
Yeah,
line from Forrest Gump."
it is.
When you're talking about Anders Carlson, it really
Yeah.
is. You just
And
never know what you're gonna get.
we will
He's very up
see
and down.
Packer fans out there when it's 3 seconds left, it's he has to kick the game-winning field goal, right? Just like, uh, I shouldn't say his name because he's gonna be coming back soon, in my opinion, but that's just my opinion.
What
Um,
are you talking about, Mason Crosby?
no, don't say his name. I want to try to give this kid a chance.
Yeah.
But remember, this isn't Mason Crosby, okay? I said it. So, people, it's a 52-yarder, 3 seconds left. You know the other team's going to call timeout, try to freeze this kid, and we know he can hit a 52-yarder. He hit from 57, and it would have been good from 60 in the preseason.
Yep.
But it's a different thing. So just patience. Mason Crosby, he's had some crappy games too. So just give the
Yeah,
kid
there was that one game in Detroit, didn't he
Detroit
miss
where he
like
missed
4 or
3 or 4
5?
field goals.
No, it was like
Yeah.
4 or 5. It was like
Was it 4 or 5?
it was
Yeah, it was
aw
bad.
oh my
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yep. Kinda had
let's get
the yips that game.
yeah. So let's get right into the preview, people. What you've been waiting for, the 2023 NFL opener, Packers or the Bears on Sunday, September 10th, 3:25 p.m. on Fox. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to go through my thing really quickly. Andy's got some great stuff as he always does. He's our stat guy, he's our guru. We love him. But here's the thing. This is what we got to do. First of all, do not let Jordan Love become your main focus. And what I mean by that is, and I know what you're saying, are you crazy? He's the quarterback. What? No, you need to establish the run early and often. So the Bears will be put into a situation or now, oh man, I got to worry about the run. This is a running game. They're going to run, right? That allows play action to open up for Jordan Love. So that's the first thing we need to do. The second thing you need to do is short passes, dink and dunk. Tom Brady, we know we much hate him, but he built his career on it. Okay. So that's the thing with the offense. Dink and dunk, get the running game started early and often, keep pounding on these guys. I would love to see tempo. I would love them to get up to the ball and just go, tempo, right? I don't think that's going to happen. The Bears defense switching to the Bears defense, they picked up a couple guys. One, I believe, from Tennessee, and I can't remember the other guy from, but he is their defensive line is their strength, in my opinion. Their secondary isn't too bad. They got a couple guys they picked up in free agency. Their linebacking core is pretty decent, but overall, the Bears defense is beatable. It is no longer monsters of the midway. They're coming at you. That ain't gonna happen. So that's what we need to do on offense. On defense, okay. I said in a previous episode, set the edge because Justin Fields, as soon as he sees that opening, he's gone. And yes, we have some fast, athletic guys on our team, but they're not going to catch him when he's in the secondary. So that, Colin Kaepernick is still running on us. What's our main thing to do is really spy on him, know what's going on. But remember, is it CJ Moore or AJ Moore? I always screw that up. It's CJ Moore, I believe, that they got
It's
from the Panthers.
no, it's DJ.
DJ.
It's
Thank you, my
DJ.
friend.
You're wrong on both.
I was wrong on both guys. So he is a force. He is a guy that can make a play, that can get down the field on you and really stretch it. So my point is, you gotta make sure if you're gonna get after Justin Fields, you gotta get home and you gotta get to him. If you're having trouble, and I'm talking to you, Joe Barry, if you're having trouble against Justin Fields, you start switching up in combinations of zone and blitz and make him think back there. Is he gonna run? Is he gonna pass? Because to me, if he starts doing that, that's when Justin Fields has trouble. But if you make Justin Fields run, he's gonna run on you and he's gonna crush you. If you make him pass, which I prefer, he still is pretty good, but he's not going to beat you with the pass. That's my opinion. I've seen it in games. He's just not that kind of quarterback because sometimes you see him like, what is he going to do? Now with DJ Moore there, that changes things. But remember, we have one of the best corners in the NFL that's probably going to be lined up on him with Jair Alexander if he's healthy. Remember, he had a groin issue. So we'll see on that. But that's my whole game plan. We just got to come out, simplify things. Don't let Jordan Love, like, I know you want to be like, yeah, he's supposed to win the game for him. He shouldn't be this has to be team. All right. Good running game. Get people open. Sure. Dink and dunk. We're not going for the home run. Would it be nice? Of course, if someone's open. But let's just simplify it. Run game. Nice dinking and dunking down the field and have our defense spy on good old Justin Fields. Got to cover DJ Moore. I agree, but he shouldn't be the guy that's beating you. But I feel pretty confident. It's just my thing, and my X factor is Joe Barry. Because if you remember against Minnesota, our first game, for some damn reason that I still can't understand, Andy, he left Sean Jefferson wide open on more than one play. And to this day, that makes no sense. So that's kind of my general, preview of the game. I think when we do the final score, I think it will be interesting. I don't see either team crushing the other team. I think it's going to be close, and I'll give you the final score here after you're done, Andy. So go ahead.
Well, my goal, John, was to keep this under an hour.
Well, we're
I
trying.
don't know if we're gonna do it.
All right, here we go.
But anyway, I did want to follow up on a couple things you just said. So DJ Moore, I wish we would have traded for him last year and got him. If the Bears got him, we had a chance to get him. It's too bad we weren't able to get him. He's a legit player, really good player, and I think he could have added to, to the mix and whatnot, and it would have been a good fit for our offense to have him, a veteran presence also. So it's too bad that didn't happen, but it would have been nice, wouldn't it have? So yeah, we are going to have to pay attention to what he's up to. And as far as Justin Fields goes, I know you talked about setting the edge and whatnot. With him also, it's also staying in your gaps, staying in your rushing lanes, and make sure that you're true to that, because if you give him a gap, he's going to run on you. So it's not necessarily always, getting outside and getting on the edge. It's also just staying in your rush lanes. If you do that and contain him, which is not easy to do, then it should be good. Should be a good outcome, right? So my game plan. This is my game plan. I'm trying to keep this short and sweet. I know in previous episodes last year when we were doing some of this, we kind of go overboard, but I'm going to keep this short and sweet for this game. So it's kind of simple. When I was looking at some of the stats and whatnot, the Bears were last year were 32nd in sacks. Okay, 32nd. dead last.
Wow.
The Packers can protect the passer. We have a great offensive line, of course, right? So basically, throw the damn ball. And so I know we like to run the ball a lot, but I think we have an advantage there that we should take advantage of and probably throw the ball a little bit more than we normally do. And so there's going to be some plays that we're going to be able to make down the field because Jordan Love's going to have some time to pass. So hopefully he can make some of those plays. So that's the first thing. Um, the second thing, the Packers were second in the NFL uh, in 2022 in time of possession. The Packers have the two-headed monster of AJ Dillon. So Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon, and I just will call them AJ squared for short. So run the damn ball too. Why not run it too? Pass it. Just rush it down their throat. We should be able to do both. The Bears where the Bears D was dead last in points allowed per game at 27.2 last year in the
Wow.
league. So we should be able to attack and be aggressive. And I know I'm kind of contradicting myself. They should be able to do both, is my point. They should be able to throw the ball and they should be able to run the ball. So we should score some points. We should probably score more than 27. But I would be happy if the Packers scored 27 in that game. So the Bears led the league in rushing. So when John was talking about Justin Fields, that was because of Justin Fields at 177.3 yards per game. So our main priority again should be stop the run. Should be priority number one. Don't allow Justin Fields to win the game with his legs, like John just said. In 2022 alone, just that year, Justin Fields had 1,143
Mm.
yards rushing and 8 touchdowns. So we need to stop that first.
Yeah.
And he ran against us in those games, John. Anyway, it
Mhm.
was just very, very frustrating
Yes.
to watch.
Yeah.
Especially the one in Chicago.
Ugh.
We almost lost that
Yep.
game, and I think Christian Watson made a couple really
Yes, he did.
phenomenal plays in that game. But yeah, you can't let that happen again.
No, you
He had some rush lanes there that were like big gaping holes. So I mean, we weren't even touching him. There was nobody shadowing him, like John just said. You need somebody to be paying attention to what he's up to. I'm not sure who that player is. Maybe Devondre Campbell.
or
I
Quay
don't.
Walker.
Or Quay Walker. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe both. I don't know. Probably one of them. You aren't going to have more than one player anyway, but yeah, one of the two. So, John, do you have any thoughts on my game plan, or do you want to just talk
No,
about the
no,
predictions now and
final
move on?
final score. I'm gonna go to my final score.
Okay.
Final score. Predictions for the game, Packer Blitz fans. Packers 21, Bears 18.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It's going to be tough there's going to be 6 field goals.
There's gonna there's some
Okay.
crazy. I see some crazy like safeties, and I see some
Okay.
craziness going on
Okay.
because it's the first game, and that always usually happens.
Okay. Yep. Not, I don't mean to cut you off. Is there anything else you want to explain
No,
yourself? I
no,
think the Packers are going to score more than that.
really.
I do. Yeah.
Hmm.
I've got them scoring 27 points. And on a previous Packers Blitz episode, a few episodes ago, I predicted that the Packers were going to lose that game, that opening game. I think after seeing them, I've got them winning
Change my
27-17 over the Bears. I think the Bears are going to get a couple touchdowns, maybe not from Fields, and maybe one field goal. And
sure,
so I got them at 17 points. The Packers are favored by 1 in the game, by the way, and that line might have changed. I did this
sure.
yesterday. And the interesting part was when I looked, it said the fans, 59% of them were picking the Bears.
Really?
So there must be a lot of Bears fans
Must be a lot of people.
chiming in, because I would have thought it would have been more probably 50-50 on that, but 59% were picking the Bears to
Yeah.
win.
And quick
So,
shout out, my friend Kurt. His prediction is Packers 17, Bears 10. Jordan Love 3
whoa,
interceptions. So
okay. That's a low scoring game.
Yeah.
So remember, Packers Blitz fans, and remember, Kurt, what I said a little bit earlier. If you're doing the research, they were dead last in points allowed per game last year. And I know they've tried to improve their defense. I don't know if they've improved it that much. So, yeah, so they averaged 27.2 points a game given up last year. So that's part of the reason why I had the Packers scoring 27. But I actually think they might score more than that. At least I'm hoping. But yeah, 17-10. Well, I'm glad he participated, and I'm glad he had the Packers winning. So that part's good.
Yeah.
So we got them about what? You got them winning by a field goal. I got them winning by 10 points, and Kurt had them winning by 7. So we're all kind of in
Yeah,
the
we're all over the map.
same realm.
But a win is a win.
Wins win. Yeah.
All
So
right.
next time on Packers Blitz, sorry fans, we didn't keep under an hour. uh we tried really hard. So we're gonna do a game recap, of course, of a Packers victory in the Windy City. We're going to talk about, because I promised you guys we'd talk about the Packers 2023 draft class and rank all of 13 of our draft picks. 11 of them made the team, 2 did not, but I think the other 2 are on the practice squad. So we're going to rank those draft picks. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the Packers 2022 draft class,
Right.
which was a total home run for Goody. And
Yeah.
part of the reason that we're talking about that is because we have some talent on the team now, and hopefully that talent plays well in our first game. So we're excited about the new players that we have on the team. So I figured we'd talk about that. And then again, we had talked about us having the cheapest offense in the NFL, and that's probably why they were after Jonathan Taylor and could afford to pay him. And so we'll discuss that next time on Packers Blitz. So yeah. So I think that's all I had.
Great.
John?
No, so Grant, wrapping it up here. Remember to listen to Packers Blitz on Apple Podcast or iHeartRadio or Spotify, wherever you listen to Packers Blitz. Also, we are on YouTube, so you can check us out there too. And again, please rate us 5 stars and subscribe. It really helps Andy and I to build our podcast and to grow. And again, we love you, Packer fans. We're going to try to keep this under an hour. That's going to be one of our goals, Andy. Try to keep this under an hour.
Moving forward.
Moving
Yeah.
forward, we will try to
Yeah.
keep this under an hour, but there's so much information right now. We will do our best to try to keep it an hour. Other than that, go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go.
And we'll obviously tell you how the Bears and Packers went. So, all right, buddy.
Victory, a victory.
A Packers
For the
victory.
Packers.
All right, buddy. Love you. Talk to you later.